What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Rants with Abby and Friends. Of course, I'm Abby, and I got Sean in the house. We got a full house tonight. They're very excited that you're deciding to join us. There is always a lot to talk about, as pretty much every sport is back. So before we get started, Sean, how you doing?
I've been better. It's okay, though.
We'll get into that. Guy, how are you?
Feeling good. Can't complain.
We got to see the fit today. What you got on?
Got a Jersey Devils alternate. Says Jersey. You know me, repping Jersey all the time. So
didn't you go to the game last week?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. They won in overtime. Very exciting over there.
Oh, that makes it even more exciting. Yeah. Hockey games are like the most fun to be at. Like, I think it's a lot better once you're there. I mean, it's similar to most sports. Like, I feel like baseball is the same way too, but hockey is like a totally different environment. I love all the hockey fights.
Yeah,
hockey is like the one game where it's worth it just to spend whatever money it is to sit right on the glass.
Literally. Alrighty. Well, we have a lot to talk about. I want to ask you guys first, what do you want to get into first? You want to do NFL, NBA? There's just a lot.
Whatever y'all want to do. There's a lot to talk about, huh?
For real. Let's do NFL because I feel like we do that all the time. I think one of our teams won this weekend, if I am correct. Guy, how you feeling about the win over in Madrid? Very exciting.
Yeah. Hey, first game ever in Madrid. Pretty cool. You know, I'm glad that we got the W. You know, it wasn't the prettiest win, but, you know, we had a win. Yeah, there was a lot of questionable decisions during that game. But despite some coaching mistakes, you know, we still pulled it out, you know. But, you know, I do want to salute Mariota for, you know, having a pretty good game until that interception in overtime. But, yeah. Could have squandered an opportunity to win. So at least they're playing hard. That's, you know, all I could ask for since the beginning of the year when it was kind of bleak.
Let me ask, do you still want them to play hard and win games?
I mean, I guess at this point, yeah, right? Like, we're going to finish, in between, like, pick 10 and somewhere in the teens maybe if we still – have this trajectory. So yeah, you might as well, because now, like, if you tank, it looks bad, and then it's just go out there, win, you know, audition. At least if you play hard, it looks good for the organization, even though we've been very erratic this year, to say the least.
Exactly. All right, another good game this week. Sean, your Seattle Seahawks and the Rams. What a game. I'm sure you're not happy about it. But what were your overall thoughts on the game besides, obviously, Sam Darnold throwing, 4 interceptions? It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? We lost 21-19. We beat the spread. Sam Darnold threw 4 picks, and we still only lost by 2. What does that say? I think we were the better team. And I'm not saying that just to be biased. I do. I mean, if you lose by 2 after throwing 4 picks, and it took their punter hitting a nuke of a punt on the final drive to pin us on the 1, and we still almost drove down and won the game. We gave our kicker a chance. I mean, 60 yards is a tough kick, right? No matter who you are. But we're in a winning position, right? I think that says it all. Our defense showed insane poise. I was really happy with the showing. It's a tough loss, right? You don't want to lose games like that, but that was one of the most encouraging losses I've seen in a long time by us. And the good thing is we got Tennessee this week. So all we have to do is come back and say, hey, we learned from that. We just need to punch them in the mouth too, get a big win there. But it's disappointing. The Rams played a great game. They put up 14 early. It was 14-3. And we held them to 7 the rest of the game. And all 4 picks pretty much came after that, right? So I can't be upset. It is disappointing to say the very least, especially when you have aspirations of a Super Bowl. But to lose to arguably one of the best teams in the league by 2 points at home. We play them again. We play them again in Seattle. So the unfortunate part is that's on I think that's on a Thursday game after we play on a Sunday. Luckily we have two home games back to back. So it's not like we're traveling, but it's still like on a short week. But it was very, very sad loss, but there was a lot of promising and good things that came out of it to take from it. So I'm not as upset as I would have been if they just beat the shit out of us and, he throws 4 picks and we lose by 35 points. That would be concerning. Oh, and here's Star Spangled. I was on TJ's podcast the other day, and he made sure to show up right at 10 in the morning and let me know we lost, and he's back again to let me know that we lost again. I appreciate him.
You won't stop hearing about it until Sunday, pretty much.
That's my loyal follower now. You know what I mean? That's my favorite viewer all of a sudden.
I know. Literally the biggest fan. Don't worry, he'll always get me with like the Diamondbacks and stuff like that. So he's just on top of the world right now with the Dodgers obviously winning the World Series. So
did y'all watch the Seattle game or no?
I did, yeah. Because I went out to watch like the second slate of games, and I mean, they were all very good, and I want to get into it because I even text you guys, after the first slate, like, hey, this ended up turning a lot better than I expected because they were dreadfully boring, and then all of a sudden they started picking up, and a lot of these games, of course, Atlanta and the Panthers going into overtime. I think Houston winning on a kick. So we'll get into that here in just a second. Obviously, the Jets doing Jets things on Thursday night football, primetime television. Ain't nothing new there.
They got Travion.
Yeah, well, and I'm a Travion Henderson fantasy owner, so I was thrilled with the 3 TDs. And Josh Allen this week, my goodness, 42 points in fantasy. I won by, I think, 30 points this week, but I was up by 50 going into Monday night. So
he had 67 in our league, and this was our week for Survivor, like the finals, and it was me versus TJ, and I beat him by like 100 points. I mean, my team went nuclear. It couldn't have been any better. So it pays for like our buy-in for the league, and it's a $500 buy-in league. So like to have that paid for, because I wasn't the lowest scoring team the whole year. So it's my first year in the league too, so it felt really nice. And I was licking my chops when I saw Josh Allen go off. I'm like, all right, I think that I secured this one.
Deal. Well, it started off kind of slow again, and I was like, here we go. I was like, it's going to start off like it did the last week, and then they finally picked it up. And it's funny, when I looked at all my touchdowns, it was just Josh Allen, and you had an occasional like Trey McBride thrown in there.
I had a literal 45-minute period where I think I had like 9 touchdowns scored because I had Josh Allen, and then I had Jordan Addison catch that late touchdown in the game. And then the 4:05 game started, and I don't know if anyone watched the San Fran game, but they returned the ball 98 yards. McCaffrey scored, then Kittle scored. I mean, it was just like a touchdown every 5 minutes. I was like, oh man, this is my favorite day of the week now.
And talking about that Arizona game, I mean, Brissett throwing like damn near 45 plus times was absolutely insane, and to still lose. Of course, they were without MHJ this week, but not.
He threw 57 times. He had 47 completions. He broke an NFL record. Yeah, I mean, that was insane. 452 yards. I mean, that guy's a fantasy winner for a lot of people that just picked him up off the wire. He's had some great fantasy weeks the last few weeks.
Well, the Jets on Thursday night, they were actually in it until half. It was 14-7, and I was like, here we go. And it just nothing after that first drive. I mean, nothing was working. 80 Mitchell with a lot of 80 Mitchell not good. So it's just, I don't know. And obviously this week, I get tired of talking. As you can tell, I get tired of talking about it. We'll have Guy come back on.
He'll be back.
Yeah. No, I get tired of talking about it because it's the same thing every week with this team. Obviously, we're going up against the Ravens this weekend. Tyrod Taylor's the starter. Not saying that wins us this game, but it gives us more hope, I would like to say.
Hopefully more pass yards. Have y'all passed for more than 120, 130 yards in the last 5 weeks? I mean, it's insane to me.
the amount of times, I think it's been 4+ times where he hasn't thrown for like over 50 yards. These stats that they come up with for the Jets, I truly can't believe that they exist. They look fake.
They just make them up for y'all specifically. They're like, you know what? Let's just throw some random stats out there and hopefully they stick. Oh, it's the Jets. Anything will stick.
Literally, they'll make a stat. Like they'll find some type of way to word it. Let's get into some of these other games. I want to start by talking about the Ravens and Browns game. And I really want to talk about that simply because we saw Shadur Sanders for the first time this week.
Wish we didn't. Jesus.
And he has officially been named the starter going into this week. So, Guy, any thoughts?
Well, hopefully it's a better showing. What was he, like 4 for 16?
Yep, exactly what he was.
25%. He's going to have to do a lot better than that this week. I mean, they're playing the Raiders, so I expect it to be a little better, but you never know. You never know. You know, Max Crosby might be hunting him down this week. So
I think Max Crosby and Myles Garrett are going to combine for like 15 sacks this week.
Yeah.
Like
it's going to be their showcase this week.
I have the Denver defense on bye in fantasy, so I actually just
So do I.
picked up Las Vegas. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Why not give it a dart throw?
See, but I picked up Cleveland, so we're going to see how that works out.
Our waiver wire is so thin. Like people in our league hoard defenses and stuff for this specific reason. Like Las Vegas was the best defense I could pick up. Like the other defenses were like the Bengals and stuff like that. I'm not picking up any of those. So
yeah, same here. Like I think the Jets were there. I think Raiders were there. But nothing.
I'm surprised the Browns are on your wire. The Browns defense is actually relatively good. They get like the defensive stats that add up.
I know. I was a little shocked, but again, Denver's defense has been holding it down, so I'll take it for this weekend.
Minus the 1 week I needed them, they got -4, and they cost me the week. I was like, oh, of course.
It always happens that way. All right, let's move on to the Chiefs-Broncos game, which, again, came down to the wire. Sean, any thoughts on that game this week?
No, I thought the Chiefs had that game in the bag. I watched almost the whole game. I was at my boathouse job and we were just watching the games on the TVs and I was like, oh, Chiefs got this locked up. And, you know, sure enough, the Broncos find a way to win. They do not give up in the fourth quarter. They are literally the best fourth quarter team in the NFL. And they just make magic happen. They're 9-2. They probably have the lowest point differential in the league and their defense is elite. Their defense, you know, we both just said we own them in fantasy, but they are an elite defense from a real life point of view, from a fantasy point of view. They get the job done. Shout out to TJ. That's my boy right there, my brother in arms. But, you know, it is so impressive how that they find ways to win games. I mean, their 2 losses this year, I think, are by 3 points as well. So they're always in the game no matter what. That offense looks horrible. I don't want to own anyone on that offense, but if they could figure out anything on offense, that team to me would be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, but they just need to figure that out first. But they are such a fun team to watch in the fourth quarter because it doesn't matter how much they're down, they always have a chance. I
mean, this is the second or third week that I've benched Sutton, and I have had no regrets about it either.
Yep.
Guy, any thoughts on that game? I can't remember I think I picked the Chiefs actually last week to cover.
I think both of you picked the Chiefs, and I picked Denver to win just because they were 5-0 at home, and that was my big thing for them.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is the Chiefs didn't really cause any turnovers in this game. So like I think their defense let them down a little bit. But you know, shout out to Bo Nix and company for taking care of the football and not beating themselves, and they were able to pull it out at the end. You know, the Chiefs are in trouble, I think. They're teetering right now. So, you know, they still have a chance. It's not like doom and gloom, but what are they, like 9th in the AFC right now?
They're 9th. They own the tiebreaker against Baltimore. The thing is about them, to your point, they're teetering, but do not let them make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not let them in the playoffs. They will beat They'll make a run. That is not a
Right.
team that it doesn't matter if you have the first round bye and you play them in the second round. If you're the home team playing them in the first round, you do not want to see the Kansas City Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes is a certified winner and they will find a way to beat you.
100%.
Agreed. So some other close games that we had, of course, Panthers beating the Falcons. And obviously we learned, I think earlier today, Penix will be out for the rest of the season. Kind of huge loss to them.
9 months, probably next season too, towards ACL.
I thought it was like they worded it like a half, like partially torn.
Yeah, and then they came out and said like he had to do surgery on it like a couple hours ago. So there was a photo of him in a wheelchair with like bandages on his knees and stuff.
That's tough. That's tough for them. Texans-Titans game came down to a field goal as well.
I just like to backpedal 1 second to that Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Bryce Young because everybody said after last, including me, that project is over. And he comes out and he throws for 450 yards, 3 touchdowns. They do nothing on the ground. Rico has been eating all year. And he said, you know what? Check me out. And, I mean, Atlanta's defense is not horrible. They're a top-rated defense. And he went out hurt. And he still threw for 450. He came back in and, I mean, I was pretty impressed with that. And another note is that Atlanta also did lose Drake London for at least a week, but it's looking like a couple weeks.
Well, and I was happy because Ted McMillan had 2 TDs that game as well. So
and almost 130 yards, yeah. So great game. But yeah, shout out to Bryce Young. I mean, I was talking down on him last week, and he came out here and he said, "Hey, I can still play football." So I was like, that's pretty encouraging. Team 6-5, over 500.
I would have never called that a day in my life.
Still hanging around.
Yep.
Speaking of injuries too, Ridley is out for the season as well. That's kind of nothing new there. Bears squeaking out another win. 7-3 now?
7-3, the worst 7-3 team in the league for sure.
Yeah,
what is up, Tordo? Sorry, I haven't seen him in a while. Thanks for being here.
You know what's crazy about the Bears is that they have a -6 point differential. And when have you seen that, right? A first place team, 7-3. You know, I mean, they look like a good team, but when you go beneath the surface, there's things about them that like, do you really want to put your trust in this team in the playoffs, right? Do you want to go all in?
They're not making the playoffs. They're not making the playoffs. If you look at their schedule, they play the Packers twice, the Eagles, the Steelers, the Niners, and the Lions. I think their time is up. They have 1 game versus the Browns, which I can even see them losing that game. The Chicago Bears are like the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're both frauds. Those teams do not have it together, but I think I saw a stat. This is the worst 7-3 team in NFL history by point differential, DVOA, everything.
All righty. Did you guys catch the Packers and Giants game at all?
Yep.
That was a good game.
That was another good game, surprisingly. But all right. And then let's move on to, I want to talk about the Steelers-Bengals game because we had some news out of there. Another spitting incident. I don't know what it is. What is up with the spitting? Jamar Chase, though, suspended 1 game for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. And, you know, the most odd thing about this was, I mean, Chase flat out denied that he spit on Ramsey. And it's very evident that you can see a full loogie just immediately right at him. Now, I'm not saying Ramsey didn't say anything, but either way, the spit was still there. So I want to talk to you guys. Obviously, he's suspended 1 game. Do you guys think that is enough?
Well, I think it's the standard they set, right? You know, Jalen Carter did it in pregame at the beginning of the season, and he got ejected and sat out the whole game, and they kind of used that as like a game suspension. Like they upheld that. It's hard because like, what do you classify that as? Because like in the real world, that's assault, right? So like, how do you want to handle that? Like, you know, Jordy Nelson came out and basically instantly denied his his appeal and said, you're going to serve that suspension, which I think he should. And I think it's just sad because he's such a polarizing player, and it's such a bad example for the kids that watch the game and the fans. I lost a lot of respect for him. I know a lot of people I've talked to have lost respect for him. One of my friends, their kid has Chase on their fantasy team, and they were going to buy a Jamar jersey, and they said they're not doing it anymore. So I think it's going to have rippling effects. It's just not classy, and you're literally touted as the elite of the elite, so you have a lot of eyes on you, right? So it's hard though, because there's not like a standard for spitting on people, right? Like seems to be more common now than it has ever been, but it's not like a common thing that happens every game. But I think one game is fine. And if it starts getting out of hand, maybe you start bumping it up if people just think they can spit for whatever reason. But I think one game is fine.
Guy?
Yeah. I mean, in no instance is spitting ever like okay, right? Like I rather him just punch the guy, right? There's a level of disrespect that happens when you spit on someone. So I wouldn't have been mad if it was 2 games, honestly, because we had an incident earlier, and if nobody learned from that, incident, we have a repeat incident later in the season. Like Sean said, there's kids watching. Kids are imitators of their heroes and their favorite players, so it just sends a bad message to all the youth that watch this game. Again, not saying that throwing a punch is that much better, but I rather you throw a punch and just break it up. Spitting, it looks like it's gonna linger. Like, so if they play next year, now we're gonna have to put a microscope on that matchup if they're both
play
on
twice a year, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing too, is like now that's bad. And honestly, the thing is too is, like you said, spitting is like the most disrespectful thing you can do. I mean, that's how I was raised. So
Yep.
it's just, it's very odd to me. And I think it was even more odd that he came out and said he didn't do it. And I love Mike Tomlin's response. He said, someone spits on you, you got to do what you got to do. Basically, he's not even mad at Ramsey for punching him, and I love that from a head coach perspective to stand by his player. Which I would say the same thing. If you spit on me, expect to get hit. That's how it is.
Yep.
So
yeah, to me, spitting is one of the most like degrading things you can do to somebody. It almost makes it seem like you're less than them. You know what I mean? Like you're just scum on my shoe type of deal.
You're degrading them.
Yeah. And so I know. And I liked Mike Tomlin's response too, because it made it seem like, hell, I would have probably, he probably would have done worse. You know what I mean? But I actually thought it should have been, I'm glad you pointed it out, Guy, because it did happen earlier in the year. I thought it should have been a little harsher as well, because clearly you're not learning. I get it. He's 25 years old at the end of the day, but he also knows he's one of the best players in the league. He is well respected among the league. And so that's just another factor. Whether he likes it or not, you're that polarizing of a figure. And it comes with, it comes with a higher reward and a higher risk, you know what I mean, because of who he is. So I just couldn't believe it, because again, we had it week 1. What are we doing spitting on people? When is that a thing?
Yeah. It seems like everybody thinks it should have. That's shout out to my fiance in the chat agreeing with Guy over there. More do you talk about it, yeah, maybe one game really isn't enough. Like, it's just such a disrespectful thing. And honestly, it's one of those things, just set a standard. It doesn't, and you know what? Jamar Chase would have been the best player to set a standard. It don't matter how polarizing you are, how important you are to your team or to the league, or he's the top receiver in the league. 2 games, boom. We don't care who you are, and you do it again, 6-game suspension if you're a multiple offender.
Well, and I think it's the fact too that he blatantly lied.
Yeah.
Like, there's video evidence. You blatantly lied in front of everybody. So for me, that was another strike. I don't know what I expected him to do, but I mean, at this point, like, own it. You already know that they're going to review all of it. You already know what's probably coming to you. So at that point, you got nothing to nothing to lose. But
you're on camera. That's the thing I don't
Yeah.
get. These guys are on camera.
Mhm.
Like you're in a bar fight. Someone says you spit on them. Like you're literally on an NFL field. It's silly.
Mhm.
Take accountability.
And I get it. I don't know the full story. I don't know if Ramsey said something to him because, mind you, I hate Jalen Ramsey. He's just one of those players I don't like. But I'm not saying I don't. He's not a good player. That has nothing to do with him. He's one of those guys I just can't stand, But I respect him though because he is one of the best at his positions. So, and I know he likes to talk a lot of smack and all of that. So again, I don't know if something was said. But either way, you don't go and spit on somebody. You got to be the bigger person here.
Aren't we grown men, like in the football sense? Like, if somebody says something to you, it's words, right? What would move you to spit on someone? I'd rather just like, I'm gonna knock you out, bro. Just spitting. Like, what words could move someone to spit on someone? And this is football. Like, a lot of crazy stuff is said on the football field, right? So like, I think it's nothing that Jamar hasn't heard any before. So like, I don't know if it's he lost his cool or whatever the case may be, but it's a bad look. The lack of accountability and you spitting, they had to lay down the law here, I think, but he got off easy.
I would have rather he like Mason Rudolphed his ass and took off his helmet and chucked it.
Anything.
Andre Johnson, him. He started beating the shit out of him.
We would have had some basically a similar hockey fight on a football field instead.
Yeah, just let him go for a minute and then break it up.
Just like football field should be like lacrosse and hockey, just let him duke it out there.
Right. All right, well, let's move on to the Sunday night football game because, my God, was that game so boring.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are just their offense, and Sean, you called it out earlier. It's similar to Denver's offense. They're finding a way to win, but they're not doing anything. So I want to know your guys' thoughts on either the Sunday night football game or the Monday night football game as well. Obviously, that was a little bit of a blowout with the Cowboys and the Raiders, but want to know your guys' thoughts. Guy, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think for the Sunday night game, and I've been watching it all year with the Eagles. I think for whatever reason, the play calling, they hold back Hurts from actually just letting it go, letting him play with full instincts. They're trying to I guess keep him healthy until the stretch run. I don't know why. I think their play calling is rather conservative for the talent that they have on that side of the ball. There's no reason why they should be that bad on offense. Like Denver, you could see a little bit that, they could be inconsistent on offense, but Philly should be a well-oiled machine if, they're playing at their maximum, capacity. 16 points, the Lions didn't really do anything either of note. The Eagles defense was playing pretty well, but nothing really moved me and showed me the Eagles are going to break out of this next week. It's going to be one of those things where you hope you get in an offensive rhythm before, the playoffs and, see what happens. But they got to get whatever chemistry issues settled and ironed out sooner rather than later because they could be, exiting quickly in the playoffs if not.
Sean, any thoughts on either of those two games?
I mean, I just thought the Lions played horrible and the Eagles really got bailed out. I mean, 0 for 5, 0 for 6 on fourth down. Jared Goff looked like he was throwing to the three blind mice and Yang on the last one. I'm like, who are you throwing it to? And then horrible pass interference call with under 2 minutes left in the game to move the chains for the Eagles when they should have had to punt. And I get it. Say whatever you want. The Lions didn't lose that game because they didn't get the ball back, but they didn't have a chance because they didn't get the ball back. That offense looked horrible all game. I'm a JMO owner in fantasy. I love how he's looked the last few weeks. That was nice to see him getting involved again. Amon-Ra came out apparently. There's some news about him having a broken finger or something. Jared Goff looks like he has a broken brain the way he's throwing the ball. So I don't know. That team, that Lions team, to me is a more talented version of the Eagles team. And to put up 9 points is embarrassing, and the Eagles to put up 16 points against the Lions is even worse to me, considering they went 0 for 5. And the Lions left probably nine points on the board in field goals alone. They were going for it on like the 40, the 35, the 40. And fun fact about the Eagles is I saw that they have the lowest defensive spending. Their defense is $66 million because they're all rookies. They're going to have some big choices to make. They're not keeping Q and DeJean. It's not going to happen. There's going to be some major regret. Yeah, my fiance is a huge Lions fan. She was sad about both of our teams lost, so that was fun. But yeah, I just think the Eagles are frauds, serious, and I can't say that enough. And I don't even hate the Eagles. There's nothing against them. I have no reason to hate them. It's just watching them play, I don't understand. I don't like A.J. Brown. I was on record the other day saying I just think he's a diva. I don't like him complaining the drop me in fantasy stuff. Everyone's like, oh, he's just trying to light a fire. He's trying to, positive, negative energy. I'm like, no, you're not. I think Devontae Smith is the better receiver out of the two, personally. So I don't know. There's a lot to take away from that game. I think like the minute stats and stuff, it's not encouraging for either team.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just add, I was very happy for Quinnen Williams coming up big for the Cowboys on Monday night. I was interested to see how he would do. And you saw Jerry Jones' little smirk right after he got a sack there. So, he's happy with that trade. But again, no hate to him, or even Sauce was obviously on a bye week this week. But no hate to either of them. Very happy that it looks like he's going to be successful there. That was kind of what they needed a little bit,
He had a sack and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And freaking Pickens, hey, he's the wide receiver 1 over there now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He looks awesome in space. I mean, he was – that move he had, he broke 6 tackles on that one play for 35 yards. The spin move he had to score the touchdown, he looks awesome. I was reading this huge Reddit thread about Pickens and how Steelers fans and players and stuff are still happy they got rid of him because he's a cancer, which is fine, I don't think the talent was ever a question, but he seems to finally be putting it all together. I don't think we've heard any really bad news out of him from Dallas this year, unless I missed something. I definitely could be mistaken on that. But it seems like he's finally found a home and finally settled in, and that talent is shining through. I don't like the Cowboys by any means, but I'm happy to see him have success because he's been through the ringer.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right. Well, let's get into the upcoming games this week. Obviously, we're on week 12, and we're going to look at the spreads and do some over-unders. Drin, hopefully you can get the banner across. So we'll start with tomorrow's game, Thursday Night Football, Bills, Texans. They got Buffalo by 6. Over-under is 43.5. There we go.
This is going to be a good game, too. I was talking the other day, Texans are not a bad team. I think they're the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Their offense has been, pity-patty, and they're not the greatest offense. Nico Collins with Davis Mills looks great, though. He's finally getting him involved, and they have a ton of good young receivers, but that defense is legit. We're both Josh Allen owners. We hope he has a huge game. But I don't know if this is going to be some 40-point game from the Bills, just because I think the Texans are going to do a good job holding them in check. But I think 6. I think this will be a 7-point game. I think that's a fair number, especially considering the Bills are the away team. But I'm actually excited for this game. I will be watching this whole game tomorrow just because I think this will be a battle of 2 good teams.
Mm-hmm. Guy?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting matchup. Like Sean said, I like to see the matchup between that Texans defense and Josh Allen, and if they're able to force turnovers, that could be a difference in this game. if Allen takes care of the football, I see the Bills winning it. But if he does turn the ball over a couple times, the Texans have a chance to upset the Bills in this game.
This could easily look like the Dolphins-Bills game did if those turnovers happen, which the Texans are more than capable of doing. I'm on the fence of hoping that Josh Allen goes nuclear again. That'd be awesome for me and Abby, of course. But I think this is going to be a great game, regardless.
Yeah. Gene, I see you in the chat here. Did you go to the game? Was it in Buffalo? The Buffalo Bucks game. Was it at the Bucks?
It was.
Or at Buffalo? I can't remember.
Good. Let me go check. I think it was actually in Buffalo.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Oh, it was in Buffalo. All right.
It was at Buffalo.
I don't keep track of their schedule. I only keep track of mine. All right. We got the Steelers and the Bears. Chicago by 2.5. Over under is 45. Aaron Rodgers with a wrist injury that apparently won't require surgery. So, Gene, it was in Buffalo. All right. Sean.
Yeah, I think this one's hard to say now because no Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is like that elite quarterback that makes the difference that much. It's just, man, no, the Steelers are going to win this game. I'm not even going to go down that path. The Bears are frauds. Steelers are going to win this game by 21. And I don't even know who the Steelers' backup is. Does anybody know off the top of their head?
It's what's his name? The one I just said.
It's Mason Rudolph still.
The one that threw the helmet. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'd love to see them get Will Howard in there. I guess he's also one of their backups. He's out of Ohio State, right? Yeah, that'd be cool to see him. But yeah, I just think it's always, every time we talk about Pittsburgh, it's the same song and dance. What defense are you going to get, right? Because I'll tell you what, Chicago's defense, you know what you're getting over there. Nothing. Mm-hmm. So if the Steelers are going to put up points, if the Steelers defense can hold them, which we've seen Chicago inept of putting up points for multiple weeks, and then other weeks they put up 50 against the Bengals. I still think that the Steelers win this game.
Guy, well, you not only have to answer the question about this game, but you also have to answer Johnny Boy's question as well. I mean, so we'll start with this game first.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think the Bears find a way to win this game. I think the Bears defense sometimes is opportunistic and they do force some turnovers, so that works in their favor. I'm not saying that they're going to have the prettiest game, but just like the rest of a lot of the games earlier in the season, I think they're going to win an ugly game, and it might be in the last second field goal. Them playing at home, I give them a little bit of an advantage at Soldier Field. But this is like the last opportunity before like that tough stretch of the schedule that we spoke about earlier. So like I think they really need this game to just put a win in their bank, So I think they're going to really go for it, and they're going to eke one out. And to Johnny Boy, I'm like, come on, bro, I'm here. I'm not in witness protection. The Dolphins are better than the Jets.
Oh, what a flex! What a flex! Oh,
I mean, he's been coming at me all year. I'm like, what's our record, huh?
Yeah, Johnny Boy against you, and you got what's his name? Star Spangled Awesome against me. I mean, it doesn't matter what channel we tune into; they're there to harass us.
Yeah. Literally, the biggest fan. I'm gonna go. It's really hard to go against the Bears right now because they're hot. So I'm gonna take the Bears against the Steelers this week. All right, we got Patriots at the Bengals. New England by 7.5. Over under is 50.5. And Joe Burrow was a full participant at practice today. I know.
He's back.
He's back.
Ooh.
I'm sure he'll break his ankle 3 plays into the game.
Literally. All right, Guy.
That's gonna be a scary one if he is playing, because I know the New England defense is gonna send the hounds on him. and try to rattle them early, which you should, and I think New England wins this game easily. The Bengals haven't done much, all year. I think the Patriots really have an opportunity to lock in that number 1 seed in the AFC if like they win these winnable games. They can't fall into a trap this week. Whoever the quarterback is for Cincinnati, you got to go out there and take care of business. If you want to be considered a contender, these are the games that you have to really show and flex and say, you know what, we're here and we're going to be a problem for the rest of the way.
All right, Sean?
I mean, the Patriots have to win this game just because they simply got blessed, right? No Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow coming back from 8-week injury, 6, however many weeks he's been out. Just something in me is telling me the Bengals are somehow going to win this game. I don't know what it is. This is just like one of those games like you're like, yeah, for sure the Patriots got it, and somehow the Bengals just beat them by 30 for no reason. I will say this is probably going to be a T. Higgins legacy game. I think he's probably going to go for over 200. He's looked great all year. Not all year. He hasn't looked great with Burrow, but he's looked great since Flacco's took over. So I'm hoping he keeps up that consistency. The thing is Christian Gonzalez is going to be shadowing him all game, and he has locked down everybody he's played. So now I just talked myself out of it. The Patriots are going to beat him by 20.
That was an easy decision for me with the Patriots there. All right, let's go on to the Giants at the Lions. They have Detroit on here by 10.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I really think it's going to be a lot more. I think the Lions are going to come out here and destroy them. Jackson Dart's still not practicing, or maybe he was on the field in a non-contact jersey. I don't remember which one it was I saw, but he's probably not playing this week. I think the Lions are just going to come out here and be really angry at their loss last week. They put up 9 points, and they're probably going to want to try to put up 40. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the game earlier this year. They put up like 52. They just kept scoring.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those games where they just keep scoring over and over, and they're just going to be pissed.
Guy?
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect the Lions to bounce back in this game. The Giants kept it close last week against the Packers. There could be, if the Lions offense is playing like they did this past week, it could be a lot closer than, what everybody thinks, just because, if Winston's the starter, he's going to just air it out and take chances, but it could go the other way too. And he could throw a couple picks and they could, lose by 20 something. But I think the Lions got this one.
And it's okay, Gene. We're all going with the Lions anyway. So it was easy choice there. And Jameis Winston, man, he's such a likable guy. I just have to say it. I love him very much. He's funny. He's just, I don't know. I even follow him on TikTok, and he just posts like the most random things, like on a boat, and it's like, life is good. And he's just like, seems like a fun guy to be around. Like, if there was an empty seat on an airplane, I would want him sitting next to me. I think the NFL does that. They'll have like fake little graphs that they make or little GIFs. They'll be like, which seat would you rather have? So, all right, let's go on to Vikings, Packers, Green Bay by 6.5. 6, there we go.
Yeah, no Josh Jacobs this game, but Emmanuel Wilson looks like a true 3-down back, so I don't think that hurts them any. The Packers just, again, one of those teams where their defense is great and their offense either comes out and puts up 30 or they don't put up anything. Their defense always keeps them in the game, and I am trying so hard to get behind the J.J. McCarthy train, and like, I'm a Jordan Addison owner. He gets me 0 all game, and he catches that great touchdown at the end of the game. And I'm like, oh, praise the Lord, he got me 9. But Jesus, he looks so bad. Addison dropped a 60-yard touchdown in the first quarter. It was It was a catchable pass. It wasn't a great throw. He was getting tugged on by the DB, so I don't know if that changed anything. A lot of people weren't like commenting on that, which I found odd. And McCarthy had some good throws, but when I watch him play, I'm just like, this guy cannot get any rhythm. And I don't think he's getting any rhythm against the Packers either is the issue. But I would love to see the Minnesota Vikings come out here and put up 28 points and show that they can move the ball. I just don't see it happening, and the Packers probably take down a divisional rival, a very much-needed win this week for them if they can win. So that's where I'm leaning as Packers. I don't know if it'll – but you said the spread was 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll probably win by a touchdown. So I'd probably take the Packers by a touchdown.
Johnny Boy, I'll answer your question here in a second. Guy.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Packers. Probably by like a touchdown. Sounds like a fair assessment. I like the Packers defense to rattle JJ in this game, and with Micah Parsons just hunting him down, it could be a long day for McCarthy. But we've seen crazier things happen if he gets rid of the ball and takes care of it. This could be a closer game. It's a division rivalry. These two teams hate each other. So, we could see the best version of the Vikings as well. I could see that happening because like Sean mentioned, the Packers offense is rather inconsistent. Don't know what Jordan Love we're getting. So I say the Packers by a touchdown as well. That's my safe bet.
Yeah, I'm going Packers too. And Johnny Boy, to answer your question, I mean, who would I rather sit next to on a plane with, Mark Sanchez and Joe Namath? Y'all should already know the answer to that, and y'all should already know why.
So Joe Namath, right?
Oh, my God.
I thought it was Mark Sanchez for sure. Just don't give him any alcohol,
Well, Johnny Boy's got a question for you, Guy.
Oh, very good question. Shula or Marino. That I got to pick Marino. That's the guy that made me fall in love with football. So easy.
And Gene says, drunk Mark Sanchez because I heard he's more fun when he's drunk. Just ask Uber Eats. I want the T on that. That's why I would want to sit next to him too.
Don't underrate drunk Joe Namath either.
That is a very good point. All right, we'll go into a couple more of the first slate of games on Sunday. We got the Seahawks at the Titans. Spread is 13.5.
I think we all know who wins this game. I
Yeah.
don't even think we have to talk about it. I think 13.5 is probably a little generous, especially considering how we looked last week offensively. I think this is a 200-yard game for JSN to pad some stats a little bit. He's already at 1,150 yards on the season. I mean, even last week with how bad we looked, he had over 100. I hope to get our running backs involved a little bit this game as well. Try to establish some sort of rhythm with the run game. But, man, I do feel bad for the Titans this week. After a tough Seattle loss last week, they're going to get the fucking brakes beat off of them. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah. JSN had a crazy stiff arm in the game, man. That was sick.
Is it safe to say he's the best receiver in the league?
Yeah, I would.
He's
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah. It's the discussion.
I mean, watching him play, he cannot be covered. He can't be covered. I have not seen anything like it in a long time. I mean, it doesn't matter who they put on him. And, man, I just can't glaze him enough. He fell in the draft to us. You get excited when you see a guy that's supposed to go top 10 fall to you at like 22 or whatever he fell to us at. And, man, all these Ohio State receivers look awesome. All of them. I mean, they breed receivers. So, yeah, I just got to glaze JSN a little bit because he's really, there was a lot of questions about what he could do. And, I mean, he's on pace to break the receiving record. So.
All right. I think we're all with the Seahawks here on this one. Easy peasy. All right. Moving on. Colts, Chiefs. Spread is 3.5.
This smells
Guys.
like game of the week. Just gonna say that early. Guy, you go ahead, but game of the week this smells like.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. I mean, I fully expect the Chiefs to be in full desperation mode. I mean, they're on the ropes right now, right? And they're gonna have to punch their way in. But I'm really focused on the Colts to see if they could, impose themselves in this AFC landscape, right? This could be a signature win for them, going to Arrowhead and taking care of business. It's going to be tough because the championship pedigree that the Chiefs are, coming off a close loss where they probably should have won that game. I'm going to pick the Chiefs in this game, just because I think they're motivated. I think they're going to find a way to win. I don't know if 3.5. I don't know if they're going to cover. I think it might be 3, like last second. 3 points or less, last second field goal, walk off kind of win.
Sean.
And there's 4 points in this game. Johnny Boy's point here, this is going to be a game that decides if the Colts want to move forward with Daniels. Guaranteed. If they win this game, this is not only a statement win. Mm-hmm. This to me tells me that the Colts are the best team in the league. They're off a bye week. You have no better time to beat the Chiefs than right now, and they have to beat the Chiefs this week. If the Chiefs win this game, I guarantee you they go on a 6-game win streak to end the season. They make the playoffs, and they probably make the Super Bowl. The Colts have to put the nail in the coffin here. I think that they're going to do a lot to contain Jonathan Taylor, and Daniel Jones has to have a massive game. I think that this is going to be on him. I think Mahomes is going to show why he's the best quarterback in the league. And I think that the Chiefs, they can't lose this game, right? Like, it's not will they lose it. They cannot lose this game. Their season is over if they lose this game. And I think they come out here in Arrowhead, and I really just think they beat the brakes off the Colts, as much as I hate to say it. There's just so much on the line for them, and there's a lot on the line for the Colts. And man, I don't want to be the Colts this week. I really don't, because this is probably the hardest game on their schedule now.
And sometimes it's hard coming off the bye week too. I know it's like all rested, but then it's a little, you get in a rhythm playing back to back to back as well. So I am picking the Chiefs here. I think they win by a field goal. Arrowhead's a tough place to play in as well. And like you said, like you both have mentioned, a lot is on the line for both teams here. I want to go back up really quickly to one more game in the morning. That is the Jets at the Baltimore Ravens this week. And I want to start with this. I know the spread is 13.5, but I do want to say and extend all my prayers to Chris Boyd, who was unfortunately shot this weekend and in the hospital. He was in critical condition, but he does seem stable now. His season was unfortunately over early for the New York Jets, but I had actually interacted with him a little bit on TikTok because he posted a video with like watermelon and tahini on it. And he was passing it around the locker room. And I commented, and he commented back, which is crazy. I'm like a nobody, and I was just like, they don't know what they're missing out. And I just thought it was funny. And he has interacted with several people that I also host other shows with. So he just seems like an overall great guy. And honestly, like with the season the New York Jets have had, with what happened with Mark Sanchez, with what happened with Mangold, this is just like the last thing they didn't need. So I'm very, I'm sending all my love and prayers to him and his family, speedy recovery. Very, very scary incident. But again, moving on, Jets at the Ravens. Lamar misses practice with an ankle. We're going to see how that develops. But they have Baltimore at 13.5. Over under is 44.5. So I'm going to go around with you guys first. Sean.
I think 13.5 is a trap, honestly. Baltimore Ravens are in the same bucket as the Eagles. I just think they're not as good. They're on their little win streak. They've had a pretty easy schedule on their win streak, I think. Let me just check before I say something that I don't mean. Yeah, Browns, Vikings, Dolphins, Bears, I guess, is a good win. But again, I think the Bears are in the same bucket as that too. I think Tyrod's going to bring this offense a little more life. And y'all didn't look bad last week. So I just think 13.5 is too high with how the Ravens have been playing. I think it's probably like a 21-27 game. And if the Ravens do win, I think that the Jets have a chance to win this game. As crazy as that may sound, I just am not super high on the Ravens this year. I'm also going against Lamar fantasy, so I just hope he doesn't play or he doesn't have a good game. I'm not going to wish an injury on him, but I just, I'm hoping he kind of looks like he did last week.
Yeah. Guy?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Ravens win the game. The spread is a little high for me. I think the Jets could keep it closer than 13.5. Could be like a 10-point win for the Baltimore. But it's not outside the realm of possibility that like the Ravens find themselves in this game and put up a big game. It all depends. The Jets have to control the clock and just keep Lamar off the field. And if they keep it a low scoring close game, then the Jets do have a chance to possibly upset them. But I expect the Ravens to win this game.
Well, it's crazy too. The Jets have this game has the same spread as the Seattle game, and the Ravens only have 2 games this year they've won by over 13 points.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's a bait. Like, can they put up points? We all know they can put up points, but have they beat the crap out of teams this year? Not really, right? So I don't know. I just, that line is so, that to me, that's like that 5.5 line we always talk about whenever the lines are like that. It's just like way too high considering. I mean, I guess it's in Baltimore, but yeah.
Right. Well, we got Zandy over here. Clearly, probably a Ravens fan saying the Jets get their bags blown out. I think 13.5 is way too high there. I'm not saying the Jets win, but I think they'll for sure cover at plus 13.5. So,
yeah.
All right. Moving on. Let's go on to another fantastic matchup with the Browns and the Raiders.
Oh.
We got Las Vegas at 4.
This is going to be like these teams are going to combine for like 57 sacks this game. I don't know if I don't know. I glazed over it, but is Aiden O'Connell starting this week? I saw there was some chatter about him and they activated him off the IR, but I didn't know if they were starting him. Did anybody see anything about that?
I didn't see anything.
No.
I'm going to look it up. Sorry, not to Dieter, but I was just, I don't really see anything. I just see they activated him, but I saw that there was like, Carroll says O'Connell has been getting reps against first-team defenses during practice. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if they've given up on Geno or if that means that, hey, they might take a stab at someone else. But Geno's looked horrible this year. So, I mean, he's 12 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. But this is definitely going to be – what's the spread on this game? Las Vegas -4. I don't even know who wins this game. I don't even have a pick. That's how sad this game is. The over-under 36, I feel like that's a little low because both these teams suck. But then again, I could see that it's just being a sack fest.
Guy.
Yeah, I mean, this also could be a wild game with a lot of turnovers. So I expect the defense to really shine, like we've been mentioning. It comes down to the quarterback for me. Could Sanders do anything in this game? Like, was last week just like first game jitters? Or is that a sign of what's to come? Is he ready? I'm actually leaning towards the Raiders on this one. Maybe by a field goal. I don't know if 4 is the right number because this game could go a million different directions. But I think the Raiders at home, they looked a little bit better, at least to me, and I like their weapons more than I do the Browns.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Raiders, but not by 4. I think they win by a field goal. So
I do want to add too. I know we're gonna jump along, and this isn't like an important game, but props to Shador Sanders. He has been nothing but a class act since he's been on the Browns. And his comments this week about, hey, Dylan Gabriel's still our starter. You know, I give him a lot of credit for where he was pre-draft and his ego, and like his dad didn't help him any, right? And he got humbled for sure, dropping from like a top 3 projected pick to going in the 5th round. But I will say, even if he isn't successful, I think he'll be a serviceable backup somewhere, like a Jacoby Brissett or something. But he has done a lot for his image and his likability. Like you said about Jameis Winston, you know, like how you wouldn't mind sitting next to him on a plane. He's becoming that kind of guy for me. And I just want to give him a lot of props because he's definitely taken leaps and bounds as a man. So,
yeah, and I'm with you there too. Even when he was the way that he was before the draft, I love that shit, to be honest. You know what I mean? It takes the right person, though. You know what I mean? There's a certain way to do it, but I've always liked it. But again, you've seen that humble side of him. Remember, that whole family is just religious. They're all about God. They all got each other's backs. So it's not like his values are there. You know what I mean? I think that just like this, what that outside, it was all, to me, it seemed like just more of an act. You know what I mean? I don't think that was actually him.
Well, they're like the Ball brothers of the NFL, right? Like that's just kind of the vibe you got from them. But
yeah. And I was even kind of pissed that the Jets didn't even bother to take a look at him or draft any quarterback. And I was like, he was on the board. I mean, at this point now it's a little different because we've had to utilize we've had so many injuries that we've had to utilize the guys we picked up in the draft. So I get how it shakes out now. But at the time, I'm like, why are you passing up on him? You know what I mean? And obviously Brady Cook, who he signed as an undrafted free agent, wasn't it. And it's like the opportunity was there. But again, Sean, to your point, I'm glad you did point that out because he's been nothing but respectful this entire time. He's waited patiently, and now he gets his opportunity.
Yeah.
So, all right. Jags at the Cardinals. The Cardinals will be without MHJ again, and they will also be without DeMercado as well. Jacksonville by 3.
Don't be surprised if MHJ is out for the year either. Like appendicitis isn't a joke, right? Like I was talking to some people from work and someone had that surgery and they're like, it took like a month to feel like you could even do anything. So I couldn't imagine getting hit by grown NFL men. Like that's not like a minor surgery. They kind of played it off that way, but he might be out just the rest of the year. He might come back maybe at the last few games, but they're not even competing. So why bring him back? Mm-hmm. But this game, there's some storylines in this game. I'm curious to see if Bishal Tootin plays or not because I own him in fantasy. Just another player I own in fantasy, right?
I do too.
And he definitely started taking over that backfield. If he didn't get hurt, he would have outtouched Etienne a significant amount. Now I know Etienne popped up on the injury report with a shoulder injury today, so I don't know if he had that during the game and if that had to factor into it. But Bishal looked good, and I said he's looked good, and he's one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. And he's a receiving back. He's like a smaller RJ Harvey to me, like how RJ Harvey took over, Denver because Dobbins got hurt. But he's actually taking it over just naturally, and they give him the goal line work too. So I'm curious to see this week. I might even start him just for the hell of it. But I'm curious to see how that plays out. And I do think the Jaguars probably just win this game unless Brissett plays like he did last week, which who knows. But this is going to be an interesting game. I think Jacksonville probably wins by a touchdown, so I'd probably take them the -3 here. And I think this game probably goes over as well.
Guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think this has the makings of like a high scoring game. I think the Jaguars have an opportunity to build another, win in their pursuit for a wild card spot, perhaps. These are the games you got to win. If especially with the Chiefs looking like they might be trying poised to make a run, Jacksonville needs to win this type of game in order to keep pace. I like you said, like that running game. I think they're gonna show out because at the very least they have two capable backs there in Jacksonville that are gonna give them a decided advantage. The Cardinals sometimes have played pretty well, but I think with Tootin and Etienne, if they're both healthy, they could by the second half break the Cardinals' will and just control the pace of the game, and I think they win. Maybe touchdown, 10 points.
Well, think about this too. If Jacksonville wins this game, I just want to point this out, and Kansas City beats Indy, Jacksonville's only back one game in that division.
Oh.
And if Jacksonville had beat Houston and not gave up 26 points in the fourth quarter, and they win this week and Indy loses, they could have been tied for the division.
Damn.
So this is a massive swing game for both teams, I feel like, because being a game back is nothing, right? Like Indy's 8-2, and it looks like a great record. And that's why I said this is a huge week for Indy specifically, because there's a lot of questions to be answered over there. But if Jacksonville wins this game and Indy loses, that is a really tight race all of a sudden. And Houston's 5-5. If they win this week too, they're 6-5. They're only sitting 2 games back. This division becomes very, very convoluted very quickly. And to answer Crooked's question, Bam Knight, simply because he gets all of the goal line work.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. Both former New York Jets as well. I'm going against the grain per usual, taking the Cardinals on this one. I don't need to explain myself. All right. And we got an NFC East matchup with the Eagles and the Cowboys. At the Cowboys, I might add. Spread on my end, 3.5.
Yeah, I hope Dallas beats the shit out of the Eagles this week. I hope they just beat the brakes off of them. And it kind of looks like Dallas is getting it going. Like, in all seriousness, like Dak kind of doing his thing. 21 touchdowns to 6 interceptions with 2,600 yards this year. Not bad. You got Javonte who can actually run the ball. And your 2 receivers, you have 2 stud receivers at this point, right? CD, 1A, 1B, CD, and Pickens. Ferg, great tight end, right? That defense looked a lot better this week with Williams. We'll see what they can do, but I actually have Dallas here. I do think Dallas wins this game. They have the Dak. We got the Dak money line up here, guys. So we're taking Dak plus 150 to win this. But this is going to be I think this is going to be a great game. But if you look at how the Eagles have looked the last couple of weeks, I would be very scared if I was the Eagles going into Dallas with this is a mega rivalry game too. So,
all right, Guy.
I got the Eagles in this game, and it's just because the Cowboys have been a different team against teams under 500 versus when they actually played teams with winning records, they haven't looked that good. I think the Eagles find a way to win this game. What was the spread? 3.5. I think they could definitely get that. The Eagles' offense, has been sputtering as of late, but this is a high-profile game for them. A rivalry. They hate each other. This is the type of game where the Eagles should come out there and try to make a statement. I want to see what Jalen Hurts could do. Right, like he needs to reassert himself as like, look, guys, I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's been playing it safe. I know the touchdown to interception ratio is really nice on paper, but the eye test hasn't really been there for me. But I think they find a way to win. It's probably not going to look pretty, but I think they're the better team and they should take care of business.
I'm more with Sean. I'm leaning towards the Cowboys, but right now I'm gonna say the Cowboys cover at +3.5. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say that they win, but all righty.
We had another question here about this game. Who do you guys think is more likely to get a touchdown, Javonte or Saquon?
Saquon.
I'll say Saquon.
To me, it's Javonte. That's funny. I just think that, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game. Also, fun fact, Jalen Hurts thrown for under 2,000 yards with 16 touchdowns to 1 interception this year. Not too shabby.
That's a product of them playing it safe, though.
Yeah. I wish they would let him air it out. I do think he's uber talented. They rely so much on the run. It's that team, they just need a new offensive identity. I feel like their defense is winning them a lot of games. I feel like if they had a horrible defense, they'd probably be 8-2 or 2-8. Sorry, not 8-2. But
all right, we got the Falcons at the Saints. Spread New Orleans 1.5. My goodness,
there's a lot of bad games this week, huh?
I was looking at that last week, and I was like, some of these games I wasn't looking forward to, and it ended up being nicer than I thought. And I was like, okay.
Well, this game's even worse now. No Penix, no Drake London. Kirk Cousins looks like he's got cement on his feet every time he's in the pocket. So I'm starting Darnell Mooney in fantasy this week, hoping that 2024 Kirk Cousins revitalizes himself somehow. But this game's going to suck too. What's the over-under? 39? Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. New Orleans to win is interesting. I think the Falcons defense is just so much better than what New Orleans is on the offensive side. And the Falcons offense, they have way more tools. It's just, God, Kirk Cousins blows, man. He's so bad. Like, yeah, I think the Falcons win this game, but damn, I hope Kirk Cousins throws for 500 yards. That's all I got to say. Because he's probably going to go throw for like 100 yards. It's going to be a Justin Fields stat line.
Guy.
This game is not that great. I mean, although they're bitter rivals and like it could be entertaining, I'm leaning towards the Saints to pull out this win. Could be a last-second field goal. Could be an overtime game. I really don't have a lot of confidence in the Atlanta Falcons. I think they had games this year that they could have won, and they let the opportunity slip away. And then, Penix getting hurt, and then you have to use Kirk Cousins. Not the best situation for Atlanta. And, I think maybe the Saints are motivated, bitter rival. They're at home. I think they might want to try to win this one for the fans.
This one's a hard one for me, but I'll take the Saints simply because they're at home. That's the only reason why. All right. Bucks and Rams. At the Rams. Rams by 7.
Banger game. It looks like Bucky might be back this week, so that'll be interesting. This is, man, let's go Bucks. Gene's favorite team. Now the Rams definitely probably win this, unfortunately, though. Matt Stafford's looked incredible. He didn't look great last week. We kind of toned him down a little bit, but he's looked incredible all year. The Bucks, I said it last week. I'll say it this week. I'll say it every other week until they get healthy. They are just ravaged by injuries. And to me, they are literally a better version of the Giants with the amount of injuries that they've had. They just have a better team around them. But, they're in the same boat as the Giants, where those teams have just been absolutely smoked by injuries. I'd love to see a healthy Bucks team. They probably go to the Super Bowl. with the way they looked with all the injuries. But unfortunately, you're playing the Rams at home, who just came off a pretty big win last week. 7 feels a little high, though, for this game. But then, look at what Buffalo just did to the Bucs last week. I know it was close all game, but they ended up losing by, 12 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of see this being a similar style game. And also the Bucs are traveling from Buffalo to LA, right? So they're going across the country as well. But over in this game probably definitely smacks. It's just a matter of do the Rams put up 40 and the Bucs put up 25 or 28, or do they put up 38?
Right. Oh, and I forgot to mention this is a Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Prime time.
Yeah,
Guy, I'm taking the Rams up by 7. Guy.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. I think they're just a hot team right now. It's unfortunate that the Buccaneers have to play them at this point of the season, and the Rams being home at Stafford is like a solid MVP candidate. It's going to be tough for the Bucs with their injuries to pull this one out. Even though the Bucs need this win. Rams take care of business.
All righty. And then the final game, Monday Night Football, Panthers at the 49ers. San Francisco by 7.
Who would have said this would have been an actual good game at the beginning of the season?
Right.
This has a chance to be a good game. I mean, both of these teams, the Niners are in arguably the toughest division in the NFL, right? They're still 7-4. The Panthers are 6-5, which I can't believe. But do we think that Bryce Young is going to throw for 450 yards again?
No.
I don't.
I don't.
I think that this is going to be one of those games where everyone's like, oh, this is going to be a good game, and the Niners are just going to beat the piss out of them. Purdy looked awesome last week. As a Kittle and McCaffrey owner, I loved it. 5 touchdowns. All 5 went to McCaffrey and Kittle. Let's do it again this week. But Purdy, he looked good coming back. I was actually shocked. He didn't really show any rust. He came back and he said, hey, we're going to put up, 44 points or whatever they put up. And they had a convincing win. And the Panthers have been that little Cinderella dark horse team all year. But I think this is the week where they probably lose by 21 points and reality kind of hits them a little hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup for Carolina. Going to San Fran. 49ers are trying to keep up with the Rams and the Seahawks, so they have to win this game. Just keep pace. I think they do with them getting healthier now. They are a little bit under the radar in the NFC. This team has a lot of talent, and this could be, it's a nationally televised game, so I think they're going to want to put on a good performance, and they do. And I think they handily beat the Panthers.
Yeah, and I'm taking the Niners here. And Skylar, we're going to ban you from the chat with your Justin Fields nonsense. I mean it.
Don't be shocked if the Niners somehow finish second in this division. I'm saying this as a Seattle fan. Their schedule is really easy. They play the Panthers, the Browns, the Titans in Indy, and then the Bears in Seattle. So they have a pretty easy rest of the schedule. I would not be shocked if somehow they finish second in that division, because we play the Titans, the Vikings, the Falcons, the Colts, the Rams, the Panthers, and the Niners. So we have pretty a similarly easy-ish schedule, but they don't have to play LA again. So they kind of just are on cruise control. If they win all the games they need to win, that Week 18 game, the Niners versus Seattle, could be to see who makes the playoffs. So, yeah, the Niners are definitely playing for a lot every single week.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to transition here, but before we do, please like and subscribe to the Pop Sports Network. And we have plenty of shows on the network, so you're going to get your daily dose every single day. But please like and subscribe on all the platforms, especially YouTube. But we're going to transition here. I want to talk about, we're going to get into some NBA talk, kind of some headlines going around there. But I first want to talk about MLB just a little because we've had a couple of signings this week. And Sean, I know one of them, obviously Josh Naylor
I liked
with
it.
Seattle. I know. So I wanted to know your thoughts on Josh Naylor signing that 5-year deal with the Mariners.
I liked it. I was happy when we traded for him. Same with Suarez. I don't know if we're gonna re-sign Suarez or not. He's probably gonna command a lot. I think we kind of traded for him to make that push this year, and we had an absolute barn burner of a series against Toronto, and we ended up losing. So I don't know if we sign, but Naylor's he's a great player. I've always liked him. I've actively tried to own him every year in fantasy because I just feel like he's like a kind of like a 5-tool guy, not like Mookie Betts obviously, but like similar, like to he kind of gets you a little bit of everything, and he's just consistent. I like having a guy like him wrapped up for. I think we signed him for 5 years too. So and I felt like it was a pretty generous deal. I think it was like 5 years, 120 million or something like that. Let me go look just
I think
to
it was
be
92.
sure.
I thought it was 92.
Yeah, regardless, it wasn't like a ridiculous contract. Obviously, there's a big difference between the number I said and y'all said, but I didn't like see the number and I was like, damn, like we shouldn't have done that. Like I was like, okay, I feel like that was a steal for the market, especially considering the quality of free agents that there are this year. It gives us more flexibility to go after other guys. We didn't send 250 million on a guy like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
All righty. And then you had Torres and Grisham both accepting their qualifying offers and returning to their respective teams. Guy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Torres deal is more impactful. I think what they were building in Detroit, he was a big part of like their success. I think he bounced back after some like tough seasons in New York and kind of reestablished himself as a good major league player. I think he was an all-star too this year. So, you know, that's a no-brainer. You want to build off of the success that you had last year if you're in Detroit. And Grisham, you know, to his point, to his credit, he's kind of like made for Yankee Stadium. You know, short porch and right field. You can get a lot of cheap home runs, but you know his defense is pretty good too. So he's been a good bargain for the Yankees. I don't think they expected him to play this well, and it gives them some flexibility. You know, late innings you could do defensive switching, and he gives your defense a little bit of solidifies the defense out there in the outfield. And I do want to make a point about Josh Naylor. I think that was a great signing because he kind of stabilizes that organization with like, okay, we're out here, we're trying to win. This is a guy that is a line drive hitter that'll hit 300. You know, I think the most surprising thing about Naylor is he had, I think, about 20 something steals, and
he had 19 and 54 games when he got traded to us.
Yeah, like, and they said he had
Baby
the
J-Ram.
second
I've always
slowest.
called him Baby J-Ram. He reminds me of J-Ram a lot.
Well, yeah, and you know he's coming from Cleveland. You know you're gonna rub off like the best of J-Ram's gonna rub off on him, but you know he had, I think he had the second slowest foot speed, I think, in the majors.
He does. He has. He's like in the bottom 1 percentile of foot speed, and he just seems to run the bases with extreme efficiency. It's
high
so
IQ.
I love him. I love him. He's a very high IQ player.
Yep.
I want to ask you about the Grisham signing though. How do you? I know you say you like it, but like, are you guys not high? I forget his name just because I'm not like super invested in fantasy right now. But the kid that you guys have in the minors, like that just smokes the ball.
Spencer Jones.
Yeah, Spencer Jones. Yeah, like I feel like that kind of clogs up. The more outfielders you sign, I feel like it clogs up a lot of like the young players that you have. Because I almost felt like when Judge got injured last year, he should have been called up, and he didn't. And I know he's like a big swinger, right? Like he's not. I'm not going to compare him to Cal Raleigh because no one's comparable to Cal Raleigh, but similar to where like he either hits a home run or he doesn't get on base, right?
Yeah. I think with Grisham, for me, he kind of like gives me more of fourth outfielder vibes. It's more of an insurance policy for, Judge getting hurt or, Stanton getting hurt, and you could kind of maneuver the roster that way. But I think he should have been called up a long time ago. Let's see what he has. What is the point of having this guy mash in AAA?
Yeah.
Just to say, oh yeah, we have one of the best power prospects in the league. And the Yankees seem to do that a lot. They hold their guys a little bit too long. Like Jason Dominguez the same way. Like they haven't really given him a full opportunity to play every day. What's his status? Like what are they gonna invest in him and let him play a little bit more? I don't know. His defense is a little iffy. So the only reason why I like the Grisham signing is I think his defense is a lot more solid than these guys. And late in the innings, even if Grisham doesn't start, he could be a defensive replacement late in the game.
Yeah. A lot of the Yankees fans I've talked to didn't really want him to take the qualifying, but I just curious to see the different sides of it because he's got the talent, but you have a lot of depth that you might want to bring up as well, so it's tough.
They can swing a trade too,
It's true. I can't wait for us to get into baseball season. I love talking baseball.
I know there's been a couple more signings. Was there any others you guys wanted to talk about? I just talked about the two most, I guess. I don't want to say major because I don't want to insult anybody.
Showed us staying with the Cubs, but I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen. I didn't see him leaving, and it seems like a lot of the Japanese players are loyal to the clubs that they sign with too. Like they're grateful to be brought over here, and they end up staying with those orgs. Like Ichiro stayed with the Mariners for his whole career, right? Like Shohei, do you ever see him leaving LA? Probably not. Rory, probably never going to leave LA. It seems like a lot of these guys just stay with whoever they sign with, which I find pretty cool almost. I don't know y'all's opinion on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a throwback kind of mentality, right? Where like guys back in the day, were very loyal to their organization, and sometimes they would rather retire than play for a rival. So they kind of have that, and I think in Japan that's a thing too, where like they're loyal to their club, and especially if they're a high profile star.
No, and I agree with both of you there. All righty. Well, let's go on to NBA. I know we got a lot of Knicks fans in the chat, so it's halftime there. Knicks are up 52-50 at the half there.
I thought you were about to say they're up 52 at halftime.
No.
I opened my other screen, and I'm like, let me go see the score of this game. What in the hell is going on over there?
No, they would have told us. They would have told us in the comments if that were the case. Trust me, we would have known about it.
My camera's so quick. I said, hold on, what?
But you guys, because you guys before we got on, we're talking about, was it the Rockets game, the Houston Cleveland game?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were talking about before? Because we got like NBA's going on right now, and then a lot of big college basketball games at the same time. So my eyes are like, and then I'm switching back and forth. I'll have like my laptop on, and then something up on the big screen, and it's very time consuming.
Yeah, I'm excited for baseball to start this year. So I don't really talk, but I've worked 2 jobs for like the last 3 years. So like it's hard for me to keep up and watch everything. I'm very invested in fantasy. Like and I just found like a new passion for baseball this year. Like I was so into like the pipeline and like the prospects. I owned Bubba Chandler months before anyone knew about him. Misoroki, I owned him months before anyone knew about it. So I was really invested in it. So it's like kind of nice to be able to watch all of the sports while there's so many going on. Like I don't know how y'all are with sports, but for me, it's not always been the easiest. And now I'm just like, I don't know what to do with myself. There's so much I can watch. I was watching the UConn game. I'm like, man, there's something I can watch something on every single screen.
And there's like something on every single channel now because of the partnerships and whatnot. So you'll have stuff on like TNT. I think right now, like the UConn U of A game was on like Fox Sports, and then there was something on like Channel 5. So
and you got hockey on this channel. You know, it's. I love this time of the year, you know, because we do have that lull in the middle part of the year. But man, it's nice to be able to just click a button, and no matter what station you go to, you can watch a game.
Guy, how are you feeling about the Spurs?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, we've been hit with the injury bug right now. Wemby's out for a couple weeks.
Castle got hurt, right?
Yeah, Castle too. So, I mean, they got a nice win yesterday against Memphis, but you know, this is why we went out and got the depth that we did, because now we have to rely on them. You know, throughout the course of the season, you know, injuries are going to happen. So, you know, we didn't have Fox to start the year, and now we don't have Wemby. So, like, I want to see how the character and the grit in this team, and I think it's showing. They have a very gritty bunch. I like the way they play the game. They're young, and you know they're gonna have, you know, a couple of bad games with the growing pains, but I like what I'm seeing from them so far. But if they can stay healthy, they're, you know, a top contender in the West.
I agree with you. Suns are doing okay. Had a tough loss the other day to Atlanta, I believe. So they're hanging around, but that's Sean, I'm glad you mentioned, like, you know, you mentioned not being able to watch all the games because of 2 jobs, but NBA is like so long. It's like the longest season. So, and again, you have a lot of teams that start off hot and then it just completely falls apart at the end. It's not so condensed like NFL or like things like that. I feel the same about MLB. Like, season's really long to be all the time. And then for me personally, like NBA, I follow the Suns mainly, but NBA is not my favorite. As you can tell, like, we just highlighted it right now. You guys were watching NBA. I'm over here watching college basketball. So it shows you I'm more into like NCAA men's basketball right now instead of like pro and whatnot. But LeBron returning this week, which is good news for the Lakers fans. But, you know, I'm not a Lakers fan. So, Guy, you look like you had some thoughts on that.
I mean, whoop-de-doo, LeBron's back. You know,
it's just always a headline when he does anything.
they've been doing pretty well without him. I'll say that.
Right.
And he didn't look good either. He didn't really look impressive at all. And my favorite thing is I saw a freaking headline last week, and it was Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and Bronny combined for 62 points. Luka 38, Austin Reeves 24, and Bronny 0. And I'm just like, I just love stuff like that. I don't hate LeBron. Like, I respect him. I don't think he's the GOAT, but that's an argument for another day. I just get so tired of, no matter what goes on, LeBron has to be in the news. Like, we don't care anymore, man. Like, there's so much other stuff to talk about. There's so many other headlines to talk about. Let's just focus on the other things going on. Like, we don't care that he can't run like a grown man. Like, that was a headline. I'm like, the guy spends fucking $20 billion. Not that much. Like, you know, he spends like $20 million a year on his health. So what are you doing? Sitting at home with your couch kicked up? You know, he's on Kai Cenat streams and shit. Like, bro, let's rent a new era and let's just kind of focus on that. I get they got to milk the views, but Christ, on a bike, it's annoying.
Because I was thinking, doesn't like Derrick Henry spend a lot on his health as well?
Yeah, Derrick Henry, CeeDee Lamb, a lot of these guys, they spend a ton of money, you know, millions, and they have to, you know, like that's what they should be investing in if they want longevity.
All righty. Well, do we all have a rant prepared for today?
I do.
All right. I'm going to let you go first, Guy. I'm going to go last. So, Guy, we'll go Guy, Sean, and then me. So, Guy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, my rant is not really a rant. I just want to shout out Curacao for making the World Cup. and being the smallest nation to qualify, they have like 150, 60,000 people in, the island of Curacao, and that's a big deal for them. World Cup coming up next year, and to you guys' point, with a lot of the different sports that was happening, I was tuned into the qualifiers for the World Cup soccer. Just being a soccer fan, I like to see stories like this where, we have new teams, new opportunities, and it's just good. Like, it's big for the island, a baseball country per se, right? And making it in soccer and just unifying the people there, that's awesome. And even Haiti making it, like, with a lot of the things they went through, they haven't made it in like 50 something years, so like that's a big deal too. Like, those little storylines to me are what are feel good stories going into this tournament. It's going to be crazy, guys. I live about like 10 minutes away from MetLife, and the final is going to be here, and they're already projecting the traffic and just the volume of people just in the area for these games. There's going to be group stage games and, round of 16, and the final is going to be here. So like, they're already encouraging you, if you're going to go to the game, take public transportation, because it's going to be a shit show getting there. But yeah,
Hopefully they break the stadium.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
in
they have to
Orlando
build a
too,
new one.
so I'm right there with you. I'm
oh,
right in the middle
they're
of
hosting
Orlando.
too, right?
Yep, we will be having it at Camping World. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the. I mean, I work in the wine industry, so man, I'm looking forward to the freaking sales. I'll tell you that. I'm in a tourist area, but I am not looking forward to the traffic, because I bought a house like kind of out of the way from where I work, and I just know it's going to be an hour and a half drive to and from, no matter what.
Does not sound fun. All right, Sean.
Man, Cal Rayleigh got shafted. That's my rant. And I'll tell you what, TJ and I have talked about this so much. TJ's a Yankees fan. I'm a Mariners fan. And I thought that Judge, at first, and this was like a couple months ago, Judge should be the winner. Higher batting average, more home runs. He beat him in almost every stat at the end of the year, minus home runs, I think. But the more I started listening to him and then thinking about it, because he thought Cal should have won. So you would think, like, normally we'd have opposite opinions, but we were both thinking our other team player should have won it. And the positional value is, and I ranted about NFL MVP last week, and I'm going to rant about MLB MVPs this week. They don't have any positional value. You can't take an MLB catcher that plays, he only missed 6 games this year. Those guys play 182 games. He is a catcher. So he's behind the plate and he's batting, right? You can't put value on that. You can't find me a catcher that's going to hit you 60 home runs. You can go take an outfielder. You can find 20 outfielders that can hit you 60, 50, 60 home runs. So I just think that it's another one of those things where, unfortunately, positional value doesn't get factored in. And I think it kind of did this time, because it was the closest MVP voting, I think, ever that happened. But it's just another one of those things where it's frustrating, because I feel like the bigger name wins it a lot of times. Shohei should have won, but I think Cal actually should have won it this year, because I don't even think we'll ever see a catcher season like that again, from the longevity point of view, from the health point of view. And he's an elite catcher too. It's not like he's an average catcher. He is the best of the best. So it's just a little frustrating to me that it seems like, again, the big name outfielder wins it, because he doesn't. If Cal played in the outfield, he would have won it, but he's not a sexy position. He's not a sexy name. He's a sexy player with the big dumper, but yeah, it's just frustrating that, again, it feels like similar to the NFL where a quarterback's probably going to win the award when there's two positional players this year that should have more than a chance to win it. An outfielder wins it again. It's boring,
I hate it because the news came out literally the day after we recorded. So it just seems like forever ago and it completely slipped my mind. So I'm almost glad you brought that up because that obviously was huge news. I was in the middle of a run and I was like, and I was like, oh. I went immediately to like comments and stuff like that because I already knew people were going to be arguing. And my cousin's like a diehard Yankees fan. And I was like, girl, I'm not even about to sit here and argue with you. Because, Guy, we talked about it with Gene. But we talked about it with Gene like a few weeks prior.
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, and Sean, you pointed out, it's like his position is similar like to an O lineman. They're only going to get so much credit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, Guy, I know you have some thoughts.
Yeah, and I was on board all year. I thought Cal was the MVP, like no brainer, just because of positional value. Like the hardest position to play in the sport is catcher, and to play it at a high level, to break the records that you did with home runs, being a switch hitter, the value that you add to the pitching staff, which is a really good staff. I think that's a major oversight on the writers because the players voted him the best player of the year, but the writers sided with the bigger brand. And I think if you switch Judge and Raleigh, and if Raleigh was a Yankee, I think he wins unanimously.
Unanimous MVP this year, 100%. You're absolutely correct.
And I that's what I don't like. They went with the bigger brand. I get it. Shohei, Judge, they're the faces of the league. It's like, they want to show dominance. And Judge is a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him. He had an amazing year. But I think when you have a catcher put up a special year like this, it's I'm not going to say it's a travesty, but it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth when he's not the MVP. Like we might never see this again, and if he has another good year next year, he's going to be judged unfairly based off of the past season. So like if he hits 45 home runs, they're going to be like, well, he declined and this and that. And I think his measuring how he's measured versus Judge is kind of unfair.
Agreed. Sean, you got any final thoughts on that?
No. This isn't me saying I'm salty Judge won. Here comes Gene. Gene had a better, Judge had a better. Yeah, we're not arguing.
Stat-wise, we already know that.
Stats.
We just said that.
It's not. I'm not mad. Judge won. Both of them were deserving, right? But when you take into account positional value, that adds so much more. And the thing about catcher too, I don't know how invested everyone is into sports, right? But like, there are literal catchers that specialize for certain pitchers and stuff. Like there will be organizations that have catchers go out for certain pitchers, right? And I'm going to ignore Gene for now. I'm not going to say we have the best pitching staff in the MLB. I think we have one of the best ones, top to bottom. And he goes out there every single game and catches every single game for every single style of pitcher that we have. That's where it comes into play for me. And I get the whole argument of, oh, well, he hit, there was a stretch where it was either Cal hit a home run or he struck out. Yeah, that's totally fine. But the thing is he plays catcher. I can't argue that enough. You will not see a stat like you will not see when Salvi Perez had his year last year. Everyone was like, holy shit, like that's a crazy catcher year. Then Rayleigh comes out this year and he just blows it out of the water. You know what I mean? And I just don't see it happening. I think a great catcher year is usually like 45 to 50 home runs, not 60 plus. And I think, again, like you said, catcher is the hardest position on the field. And I love Aaron Judge. I don't think that he shouldn't have won it. I just think Cal should have won it. That's how I feel.
I'm sure we'll hear from Gene in the comments still, but
sure. the Buccaneers, Jets, Yankees fan over there.
You jumped ship, bro. This is the same dude who, again, I will remind him until this season is over, that Justin Fields was apparently comeback player of the year. And how's that going? Benched. And now we got, I think I chat GPT this. It's literally our 49th starting quarterback for the Jets. This carousel of QBs gets exhausting. Oh, I'm not a Jets fan now. Okay.
Yeah, and then he's arguing war, and Judge had a 9.7 and Rayleigh had a 7.4. Like, they both had crazy wars. Like, we can take every single advanced metric you want, and yes, Judge won on a lot of them. We're not arguing that, but you can put a ton of outfielders that put up crazy stats. So, like, yes, we can argue all the advanced metrics, and no one's saying that Judge didn't deserve it. I don't think anybody in this chat and anybody in this podcast will say that Judge didn't deserve it. But Cal Rayleigh should have won it. I think a lot of people will agree with that.
Judge hit like 80 points higher.
And he also missed a month too. So, like, what happens if he played that whole extra month, right? Like, there's a ton of factors. Yes, he would have hit more home runs, had more runs, whatever you want to say, but it's a moot point. Me and Gino argue for an hour and a half about this.
You're not going to win.
I'm ignoring him. Yeah, he came in
second.
Go back
to your pirate ship over there and go and hang from it.
Season ticket holder.
He's all dangling from it.
Fake fan.
All right. Well, moving on. So the Arizona Wildcats football team upset Cincinnati this week in their first meeting, which is on Saturday. And I'm so excited because I'm going to Tucson this weekend to watch the Wildcats take on the Baylor Bears. So very excited. And I should be going to the rivalry game against Arizona State as well. But that's obviously here in Tempe at ASU this year.
They play Colorado this week?
ASU?
Yeah.
That I do not know. And news there, Sam Levitt it's rumored that he might not return to ASU after this season. I mean, obviously he's hurt, but let me see now I'm curious to see who they play. But this is going to be a good rivalry game simply because both teams, I mean, U of A was projected to be at the bottom of the Big 12 this year. So the fact that they're 7-3 right now is actually very surprising, as I only projected them to have 6 wins. So let me see who ASU plays, because they are still top 25 right now. We got some good matchups this week too in college football. Yeah, ASU plays Colorado. There we go. And they're favored right now by 7.
It's actually impressive that Big 12 has 3 teams in the top 13 as well. I didn't realize that. Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech. It's pretty cool.
All very good teams. But I do want to talk about this matchup that the University of Arizona men's basketball team just had with UConn. Because I'm going to say it now, U of A going to the Natty, baby. I don't care. It's hard not to get excited, but when you beat 3 top 25 teams, and I could care less that UConn was without one of their best players. U of A is stacked whether you like it or not. And they were at UConn was at home. You had all the home field advantage there. And Jaden Bradley not getting enough credit. He was already very underrated coming into the season for God knows whatever reason why. He's been playing with a chip on his shoulder this entire goddamn time. And now people are finally starting to recognize that he's one of the best point guards in the goddamn country.
Preach.
That's all I have to say. What else do you want to do? Who else want to be in our way? Literally. And I hate it. I have this. He's a New York Jets content creator. We love talking about the Jets with him, but he is always the biggest troll on all of my Arizona basketball content. He called our schedule a Mickey Mouse schedule, and I was like, dude, I'm deleting your comment because you're about to piss me off. This is the hardest schedule in the goddamn country.
Don't you guys have like 2 more ranked games coming up too against Bama and Auburn, right?
Literally, they showed our schedule coming up. UConn's got a stacked schedule as well. And no one really thought this team was going to put it together as quickly because of how many freshmen that we have. And I get it. It takes some time to gel. But, I mean, the bench has, for the last 2 games has actually been hot coming off the bench. Our bench players like Owaka and Adeli. But this week it was our stars. It was Jaden Bradley and it was Koa Pete. And I just feel like we have so much depth on this roster. And I've said it before, this roster is probably one of the best ones that Tommy Lloyd is ever going to have, and I need them to put it together. And this is no shade to other teams right now playing. I have Bama and Illinois right now, 3 minutes, and it looks like Bama's up by 4 points right now. So this is going to be another close game here. I mean, you still got Duke rolling through people. You got UNC rolling through people, Creighton, Gonzaga, all the big name schools. But, I mean, U of A just looks absolutely incredible, and I am so hyped for them. Not only, I mean, football's doing well, but basketball now. And, again, who else want to stand in our way?
Is Koa's an Arizona native too, right?
Yes, and the fact
he's
that we've
from Chandler, right?
Yes.
Because my friend, one of my best friends is from Chandler. So he was always talking about him.
Yeah, we've held on to our recruits in state very well. We actually just had one that actually committed to Duke, I want to say early last week. I think he's from Millennium High School. But we've done a really great job at keeping our, what does he say? ASU has the best college. Don't start with me. Don't start with me.
Do they have your old coach or something? Am I missing something?
No, they have, and I'll tell you something right now about the game, Illinois right now. So Kylan Bosmel for Illinois actually was with U of A, and now he's balling out at Illinois. No, he has the other Hurley, the whack Hurley, who fucking sucks, who's always sweating through his t-shirt, licking his lips, all freaking disgusting. The loser Hurley, the loser one.
Oh my god.
Hurley boys.
You want Bama to win this game though, because if Bama wins this game and then you guys play them and they're still undefeated and you beat them, that's another quality win for you guys.
I know. It's like, what else do we got to do to get
They're
some
up 5 right now.
credit? My goodness. So I hate Hurley. I do. He's just so, and this is his last year. Honestly, his ass was saved because of the way they recruited this past year. But I think he's gone after this year. He needs to be gone. He's not doing anything with that program. He said plenty of enough times too. You can tell how passionately I can't stand that Hurley.
Yeah, I see that.
Speak to your brother, bro. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, we're not even in Big 12 conference play yet. We got Houston, we got Texas Tech. All of those teams are just equally as stacked. So I met the dad a bunch of times. Awesome family. I'm sure they are.
They are Jersey City, baby.
Isn't college basketball crazy though? Like,
I love it.
The ranking, I always find the rankings hilarious because they do not correlate with college football at all. Like Purdue and Houston are always top teams. Like you got UConn, Duke, but it's like none of these teams are top teams in college football, but they're always top teams in college basketball. I always find that crazy because you would think like school prestige would kind of correlate with both sports, but it doesn't at all. Even in baseball, like it does not correlate at all in baseball. Like Vandy and LSU and all those colleges are typically the better college baseball teams. So I just find it hilarious.
Yeah, but I couldn't be more excited right now. I got, obviously the game ended right before I came on, which is why I was like a little late logging in. I was like, man, let me settle down and get I was running around the whole house. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good win.
I know. And
if not, Destino would have been here for an hour and a half talking shit to you. So thank God.
Oh, I know, literally. But he was the first comment. He already knew he needed to give us credit. But again, I was reading all the comments, and they were without their best player. I very much understand that. But you play the team that's put in front of you. Even if we were without our best players, that's not the first comment I'm going to go and throw out there, acting like you're not a well-coached team, acting like you haven't won 2 of the 3. You've won the national championship 2 out of the last 3 years. So I hate it because if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't hear Arizona fans being like, oh, we were without XYZ. You know what I mean? We would have just gave you credit for, beating us. So love to see him getting credit. And you want to know what's funny? I like Mike Francesa. I listen to his podcast, and I haven't listened to him in a while, but he is the biggest hater of Arizona basketball. And I wonder if his tune has finally changed. We'll see if he comes out with it.
Typically, the haters latch long a little bit harder when they win.
Big East guy. I completely get it, but still. All righty. Well, that is our show. We appreciate you guys joining us every single Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. You already know the drill. Like and subscribe on all the social media platforms. We have shows out every single day of the week. So whatever sport you want to listen to, you're going to find it. If you're a sports bettor, you can follow Destino. You want hockey, follow Unhinged. We got it. We got it for everybody. So Star Spangled Awesome has one more comment before we get off. Francesca hates everyone. Star Spangled Awesome hates Sean apparently and all his teams.
Yeah, he hates me too. Yeah, loyal fan though. I respect it. He shows up no matter what podcast I show up on. I don't think anyone knew I was on TJ's podcast on Thursday. The first damn comment in there, I'm like, you son of a bitch. I was like, man, I had lost my voice. I could barely talk. And I'm like, I can't even be mad at him. He's right. They won.
I love Sean, all in the game. I know it's all love. We're all just teasing each other. We all know it's a joke. This is a fun show. That's what we're here for. That's what one of the best things about sports is being able to shit talk. I'm sorry, it is. So, all righty, you guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Tune in next week, 9:30 Eastern. Appreciate you all. Subscribe, like, subscribe. See you next week. Bye.